Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome back to our Arabic class. We're doing the Medina Arabic course book 1, and tonight inshallah ta'ala we are doing lesson number 19. So without delays, let's begin. Bismillah walhamdulillahi wa salatu wa salamu ala rasulillahi wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa man wala. So we're doing lesson number 19, Ad-Darsu Tasi'a Ashara, the 19th lesson. So we're quite close to completion, if I'm not mistaken. 21, 23, 23. So we've got a handful of lessons left before we complete this book number 1. So anyhow, let's begin. He said, Bismillah walhamdulillahi wa salatu wa salamu ala rasulillahi wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa man wala. He says, Al-Mudiru, that's how the lesson begins. Al-Mudir, it's a conversation between the principal and the student. So Al-Mudiru, the principal, he says, not the student, but the teacher, the principal and the teacher. So the principal says, Kam taliban jadidan fi faslika ya shaykhu. كم طالبا جديدا في فصلك يا شيخ. How many new students طالبا جديدا في in فصل classroom ك yours you one man. So في فصلك in your classroom أو يا شيخ أو شيخ. So another thing, when you are using ya, the word ya, the word which follows it is not ya shaykhun, but ya shaykhu. So kam taliban jadidan fi faslika ya shaykhu. How many new students are in your classroom, O shaykh? O teacher in this case over here, but he's an old person and he's a shaykh as well. So that's it. So al-mudarrisu, the teacher now responds, he says, fihi asharatu tullabin jududin. عشرة طلاب جدد. There are 10 in it. فيه meaning في فصلي, in my classroom there are عشرة طلاب جدد. There are 10 new students. طلاب جدد. Okay, since we're basically doing numbers and we're showing how the numbers work. So anyhow, okay. The next point he goes on, he says, Al-Mudiru, the principal. The principal now continues the conversation. He asks, Min aynahum? Akulluhum min baladin wahidin. Where are they from? Min, from. Ayna, where. Hum, they. Where are they from? Where are they from? Akulluhum, are all of them min baladin wahidin? Are all of them from one country, one city, one town, whatever the case may be? Are all of them from one country? المدرس لا، هم من بلاد مختلفة. منهم 3 طلاب من الفلبين، و4 طلاب من اليابان، وطالبان من الصين، وطالب واحد من ماليزيا. So he says, no, they are from different countries. منهم, amongst them. So he says there were 10, so he breaks them down. So amongst the students, amongst them, 3 طلاب من الفلبين. There are 3 students from the Philippines. So 3 طلاب. 3 students from the Philippines. و4 طلاب من اليابان. 4 students are from Japan. وطالبان من الصين. And 2 students are from China. وطالب واحد من ماليزيا. And 1 student is from Malaysia. So that makes up all 10. What is the thing that is actually pointing out to? Let's see. Okay, it's not exactly covered here, but you see here, طالبا جديدا, or طالب جديد, طالب واحد. In other words, that's basically what is the crux of the matter. What is actually pointing out in simple terms, just to summarize the lesson, the point of summary that he's doing over here is to point out the fact that when you have 3 or more, then it is treated like mudaf and mudaf ilayh. So if you heard how I said now, طالب واحد. طالب واحد. But ثلاثة طلاب. Like where did we go? ثلاثة طلاب. Why he got كسرتين? Because think of it as مضاف مضاف إليه مضاف. Whereas in the case of كتاب واحد or طالب واحد, both of them have ضمتين. So when it comes to the numbers 1 and 2, طالب واحد, طالبان اثنان, طالبان اثنان. So they follow one another in that form, but only from number 3 to 10. That's when the numbers now change. So you then be reach ثلاثة طلاب, أربعة طلاب, خمسة طلاب, ستة طلاب, سبعة طلاب, ثمانية طلاب, تسعة طلاب, عشرة طلاب, عشرة طلاب. So from 3 until 10, you use it in this form. In the singular form, طالب واحد. In the dual form, طالبان اثنان. So ani, they are in that way. طالبان اثنان in that form. But anyhow, that's the crux of what this lesson is about. Showing you that when you have the numbers 3 to 10, then you will use it in this manner. But let's carry on and you'll see it more. So the principal carries on. المدير أفي فصلك طلاب من أمريكا. Is there in your classroom any students from America, or is there students from America in your classroom? Like you can switch it around in English, but in any case, are there students from America in your classroom? And المدرس the teacher replies نعم فيه 7 طلاب من أمريكا. Yes, in my classroom there are 7 students from America. المدير أهم جدد. The principal asks, are they new? أهم جدد. Are all of them, are they new students? And the mudarris replies, لا هم قدامى. هم قدامى. So جدد and قدامى. قديم قدامى. جديد جدد. Obviously, you know that as we touched before on the point that there are different plural patterns. So Juludun is Jadidun. Juludun is on that pattern of Fu'ulun, and Qudama is on the pattern of Fu'ala. But anyway, you will do that in further detail at a later stage of the time. But nonetheless, so Hum Qudama, they are old. They've been there for a long time. They didn't just come and join this year. That's what he's basically saying. Then Al-Mudiru, the principal carries on. He says, Kam Taliban fihi min Uruba. كم طالبا فيه من أوروبا. أوروبا is Europe. So أوروبا is you put all your United Kingdom and all of them in Europe over there in France and then all, but obviously all of them have their own individual names. But now he's making it broadly as in anyone from Europe. So كم طالبا فيه من أوروبا. How many students in your classroom are from Europe? So now he breaks it down. المدرس, he replies, he says, فيه 5 طلاب من إنجلترا, و8 طلاب من ألمانيا, و6 طلاب من فرنسا, و9 طلاب من اليونان. So you can learn a new place over here. So he says there are 5 students in my classroom. There are 5 students from England, and وثمانية طلاب and 8 students from Almania. Almania is Germany. وستة طلاب من فرنسا. There are 6 students from France. وتسعة طلاب من اليونان. Yunan is Greece. So there are 9 students from Greece, 8 from Germany, 6 from France, and 5 from England. And then Al-Mudiru, Shukran ya Shaykhu. And the principal now says, thank you, oh Shaykh. And that's all I wanted to know. I wanted to know where all your students are coming from. That's the end of page 105, and that's the end of the lesson itself. Simple, straightforward. So let's look at the exercises over here. He says, Iqra waktub. Tamarinu, above here, exercises. Number 1, Iqra waktub. Read and write. So he says, ثلاثة طلاب. Why are we starting at number 3? It should have been starting at number 1. But nonetheless, ثلاثة طلاب, 3 students. okay, he go down this way. 4 طلاب, 4 students. 5 طلاب, 5 students. 6 طلاب, 6 students. 7 طلاب, 7 students. Okay, I suppose they putting it, showing you the numbers 3 to 10. 7 طلاب, 7 students. 8 طلاب, 8 students. 9 طلاب, 9 students. 10 طلاب, 10 students. So simply showing you what I just explained previously, that from the numbers 3 to 10, they follow this format, that the word will be feminine in this form, ثلاثة, أربعة, خمسة, ستة, سبعة, so on, so on, so on. And the word that you're speaking about, the طلاب in this case, or kitab, or ثلاثة كتب, أربعة كتب, خمسة بيوت, you know, it's just things of that sort. So anyway, from the numbers 3 to 10, they follow this format over here. Carrying on, exercise number 2. اقرأ واكتب, read and write this one as well. Number 1. عندي 5 كتب وثلاثة أقلام. So he's showing you, here we were dealing with human beings. So in case you were wondering how is it dealing with inanimate objects, so he shows you here. عندي, I have 5 كتب, 5 books. وثلاثة أقلام, and 3 pens. أقلام, كتبين, both are treated as if they are مضاف إليه, like طلاب above. So I have 5 books and 3 pens. Number 2, خالد له 6 أبناء. Khalid, he has 6 sons. كم أخا لك يا آمنة؟ لي 4 إخوة. How many brothers do you have, O Amina? I have 4 brothers. I have لي 4 إخوة. 6 أبناء, كتب, أقلام, same thing. So whether it ends with a ta marbuta like this, or a hamza like this here, or a meme, or anything, they follow this pattern when they are the numbers 3 to 10. So I have 4 brothers. Number 4, في الأسبوع 7 أيام. In the week, there are 7 days. Number 5, كم ريالا عندك الآن يا عمار؟ عندي الآن 8 ريالات. So how many riyals, Saudi riyals, how many riyals do you have with you now, oh Ammar? In other words, how much money have you got on you right now, Ammar? Obviously, you're talking about from a Saudi to a Saudi, so he'll be having riyals in his pocket, not like he'll be walking around with rands and Zimbabwean dollars over there. So how many riyals do you have in your pocket, or how many riyals do you have on you right now? We're not asking how much is in your bank. We're not asking how much do you have at home. We ask how much do you have on you right now. We want to stop somewhere and buy something, so I need to know how much you got on you. That's what he's asking. كم ريالا عندك الآن يا عمار? How many riyals do you have on you right now, O Ammar? And Ammar replies by saying, عندي الآن, I have on me right now 8 ريالات. I have 8 riyals. So ريال, ريالات on that pattern, but 8 ريالات, because it's the number 8, so therefore it gets a kasratain. So 8 ريالات. I have now on me 8 riyals. Number 6, في هذا الحي 9 بيوت جديدة. 9 بيوت جديدة. In this locality, in this suburb, in this area, there are 9 new houses. So 9 بيوت. بيوت is kasratain because of 9. But then you have the word جديدة. So why the جديدة? It's جديدة because it's speaking about بيوت. بيوت جديدة. So موصوف صفة. So they got to correspond. So 9 بيوت. So because he's بيوت, he becomes جديدة. 9 بيوت جديدة. In this locality, in this suburb, there are 9 new houses. Number 7, لهذه السيارة 4 أبواب. For this car, there are 4 doors. 4 أبواب. باب singular, أبواب plural form. So أبواب meaning doors. For this car, there are 4 doors. In other words, this car has 4 doors. It's a 4-door car. It's not a 2-door, it's a 4-door. Number 8. كم ثمن هذا الكتاب؟ ثمنه 7 ريالات ونصف. كم ثمن هذا الكتاب? What is the price of this kitab? What's the price of the book? What's the price of this loaf of bread? So on and so forth. So كم ثمن هذا الكتاب? كم ثمن هذا الخبز? كم ثمن هذا البيت? Whatever the case may be that you want to ask about, what's the price of this thing? كم ثمن هذه السيارة? What's the price of this car? You know, so on and so forth. So ثمنه 7 ريالات ونصف. Its price, the price of this book is 7 reals and a half. In other words, 7.5 reals, what we would say 7 rand 50. To put it in our terms, $7.50, 7 reals 50, you know, that sort of thing. 7.5 reals, that's the price. We don't exactly have a half a rand, but a half rand is a 50 cent. So putting it in our terms, we would say 7.5 rand. Okay, moving on now to number 9, last one on the page. It says في هذا الفصل 10 طلاب قدامى و4 طلاب جدد. So following everything that we've learned previously, في هذا الفصل, in this classroom, there are 10 طلاب, there are 10 students who are قدامى, they are قدامى, they are old students. و4 طلاب, and 4 students جدد, 4 students which are new. So طلاب got kasratin because of arba'atu. So therefore jududin has kasratin because of طلاب. But the case of Qudama, and we did this law before in America and in Calterra and Almania and Mustashfa and so on and so forth. When you have a word like this which ends with the R, like America and all of them, when it has a R sound, Qudama, you don't become Qudami, you don't become Ameriki, Amerikai, Amerikiyun, it would be a person. But the word Qudama is Qudama, it's not Qudamai, Qudami, nothing of that sort. So, Tulabin Qudama. Qudama remains Qudama, it does not get affected by the fact that Tulabin got kasratain. So if you were to say, if this were to happen, Tulabun Qudama, Tulabun, it still be Qudama. So Qudama is unchangeable. Like America and Inkaltara and all of those ones are unchangeable. So there are 10 new students and 10 old students and 4 new students. And that's the end of page 106. Yes, let's see how far we can go. Page 107, carrying on number 10. كم قميصا عندك يا إبراهيم؟ عندي 4 قمصان. 4 قمصان. So, how many qamis, kurtas, to use our terms, how many kurtas do you have, O Ibrahim? And Ibrahim replies by saying, I have 4 kurtas. Qamisun, qumsanun. That's the pattern, singular to plural. So, arba'atu qumsanin. I have 4 kurtas. Number 11, عندي ريالان و5 قروش. So, you know, you got rands and cents. Their cents is qurush. So I have 2 riyals and 5 cents. Simply put. وخمسة قروش. Number 12. في هذه الحافلة 10 ركاب. في هذه الحافلة. الحافلة refers to the bus. In this bus, there are 10 ركاب. Rukabin means people who are riding. In other words, there are 10 people riding this bus. There are 10 passengers on this bus, is what it's actually saying. So in this bus, there are 10 passengers. And that's the end of that exercise, number 12. Moving on to the next one. Number 3, it says, أجب عن الأسئلة الآتية مستعملا العدد المذكور بين القوسين. Answer the following questions using the number which is mentioned between the brackets. So, number 1, he gives the example, مثال, كم كتابا عندك? How many books do you have? And in the brackets is the number 3. So he says, عندي 3 كتب. I have 3 books. because you had to use the word 3. So kam akhan laka ya Hamidu. How many brothers do you have, O Hamid? So they tell you the answer here is 5. So you would have to say li, not indi. Remember we did the difference between inda and the lam of possession. So inda are for your personal possessions and stuff of that sort, and the lam is for body parts, family, friends, things of that sort. So kam akhan laka ya Hamidu. How many brothers do you have, O Hamid? And you would say li khamsatu ikhwatin. So you need to know to change the word akhun into plural, which gives you ikhwa. You need to know how the word khamsa. So khamsatu ikhwatin. So you see, everything here is what we have already learned before. So if you don't know this, then you need to go back and do your homework. But if you know this, or at least if you paid attention in class, then this is small smacks. It's a walk in the park in reality. So I have 5 brothers. Li khamsatu ikhwatin. Number 6. كم عمن لك كم عمن لك يا ليلى. Not ليلى, not علي. يا ليلى. كم عمن لك يا ليلى. How many paternal uncles do you have, O Layla? And that's number 4. She's supposed to say she's got 4. So li أعمام, so, or at least li أربعة أعمام. عم أعمام. So ammun a'mamun is uncle to uncles, and the word for is the arba'atu. So li arba'atu a'mamin. I have 4 uncles. 4 paternal uncles, not maternal ones, paternal ones. Number 3. Kamibnan laka ya sheikhu. So you see the meme over here got a kasra on it, because it's actually the word kam. So it's actually got a sakin on it. But the next word follows up with an alif, a hamzatul wasl, meaning that you can join. So you can say kam ibnan laka, kam ibnan like laka, like you may have been thinking. But if you wanted to join, because it's hamzatul wasl, you read it as kamibnan, kamibnan, not kam ibnan, join without a pause. Kamibnan laka ya sheikhu. How many sons do you have, O sheikh? And here they tell you to use 6. So therefore, li sittatu abna'in. I have 6 sons. Li sittatu abna'in. Number 4. He says, Kam su'alan fi hadha darsi. How many questions are in this lesson? They tell you 8 here. So you would say, fi hadha darsi. Thamaniyatu su'alatin. Su'alatin. Su'alun, su'alatun. Or as'ilatun. Thamaniyatu as'ilatin. If you wanted to go that way. So our time is running short for some reason. I don't know why. So we're going to end quickly before the time runs out. That was number 8. There are 8 questions in this lesson. Number 5. Kam rakiban fil hafilati. How many passengers in the bus? He says there are 9. So fil hafilati tis'atu rukkabin. Fil hafilati tis'atu rukkabin. In the bus there are 9 passengers. Number 6. Kam riyalan fi jaybika. Jaybun means your pocket. So here they're actually mentioning the word pocket. Kam riyalan fi jaybika. How many riyals are in your pocket? And they tell you there's 7 riyals. So fi jaybi. Fi jaybi sab'atu riyalatin. In my pocket there are 7 riyals. And the last one, number 7, kam thamanu hadha al-kitabi. What's the price of this kitab? And they tell you it is 10. So thamanu hadha al-kitabi asharatu riyalatin. The price of this kitab is 10 riyals. Asharatu dolarin. If you want to say it's $10 or whatever currency you want to make it, but it's got to be 10. So the price of this kitab is 10 riyals. Thamanu hadha al-kitab, or thamanuhu. If you don't want to say, repeat hadha al-kitab. Thamanuhu asharatu riyalatin. Its price is 10 riyals. And that's the end of that part. We'll stop on this point here so we can complete that next week, inshallah ta'ala. Oh, at least let me just see. Okay, we got enough time. We can just finish this lesson off completely. Number 4. اكتب الأعداد من 3 إلى 10 واجعل كل من الكلمات الآتية معدودا لها. He says, write out the numbers 3 to 10 and make each of the following words the عدد معدود. So 3 كتاب, 3 كتب, 4 كتب, 5 كتب, so on and so forth, right through till the end. قلم, change it plural, أقلام, so 3 أقلام, 4 أقلام, 6 أقلام, 9 أقلام, so on and so forth. تاجر, which is pens, book, كتاب a book, قلم a pen, تاجر a businessman, رجل a man, طالب a male student, ريال a real, قرش is the cents, like I say, أخ is a brother, ibn is a son. So I'm going to just use the word 3 for all of them, or 3 and 4. So ثلاثة تجار, أربعة تجار, ثلاثة رجل, أربعة رجال. Yeah, تجار, رجال. So طالب, ثلاثة طلاب, أربعة طلاب, ثلاثة ريالات, أربعة ريالات, 3 قروش, 4 قروش, 3 إخوة, 4 إخوة, 3 أبناء, 4 أبناء, 9 أبناء, 8 أبناء, and so on and so forth. So that's basically what I wanted you to do, just to drum it into your head, the constant repetition of how the numbers 3 to 10 have this format. So lastly, let's end of the lesson on page 108. Al-kalimatul jadida, to the new words. Athamanu, the price. Nisfun, which means half, or like I say, 50 cents if you're talking in a price wise. Al-riyalu, James, stand for jama. The riyal, plural form, riyals. Al-hafilatu, the bus, plural, hafilatun. As-su'alu, the question, plural, as'ilatun, questions. Al-baladu, country, plural, biladun, countries. Uruba, Europe. Faransa, France. Mukhtalifatun, different. Al-yawmu, plural form, ayyamun. Al-qirshu, plural is qurush, like I say, there's Saudi cents. Rakibun, passenger, plural form, rukabun. Qadimun, plural form, qudama, old. Al-jaybu, the pocket, plural, juyubun. Jaybun, juyubun, the pocket and pockets. And Almania, Germany. Al-Yunan, Yunan, like I said previously, was Greece. And the last one here is Malaysia, which is Malaysia. So Almania, Al-Yunanu, and Malaysia, Germany, Greece, and Malaysia. And that being said, it's the end of page 108. It's the end of lesson number 19 and the end of our lesson for tonight, inshallah ta'ala. Until next time, we end on this point here for tonight, inshallah ta'ala. Next week, inshallah, we'll continue on from lesson number 20. But until then, we end for now when we say, وَصَلَّى اللَّهُ وَسَلَّمَ وَبَارَكَ عَلَى نَبِيِّنَا مُحَمَّدٍ سُبْحَانَ اللَّهِ وَبِحَمْدِهِ سُبْحَانَكَ اللَّهُمَّ وَبِحَمْدِكَ نَشْهَدُ أَن لَا إِلَهَ إِلَّا أَنْتَ نَسْتَغْفِرُكَ وَنَتُوبُ إِلَيْكَ وَالسَّلَامُ عَلَيْكُمْ وَرَحْمَةُ اللَّهِ وَبَرَكَاتُهُ.